Hi there, welcome back to another reading episode here behind the paywall. Another reading from the memoir-in-progress as it travels along. This is going to be our final reading for this year. Just listen out for announcements in the main episodes, but we'll be back next year, resuming the schedule in February, and when we're back to main episodes coming out, we'll be back to reading episodes. So that'll pick up I think it's the first Monday in February, which I think will be the 2nd of Feb. Yeah, just FYI, just so you know. This section is dinner, 18th birthday. Again, okay. The dinner scene itself is a little bit fractured. We'd never really, we're still working on that. So you've written here, the first time I introduced the Bohemian to my parents is for my 18th birthday dinner, which my mother has arranged. My mother's gone to a great deal of efforts. You describe it, then you say, to help break the ice with my parents, the Bohemian has brought one of his close friends from college, who we'll call Karen. Karen, who by extension is now my friend too.
Yes.
When he arrives, however, I'm mortified. He appears in his old bomb of a car, a Morris 1100, which I suppose isn't so bad as it's all he can afford, yet he's also wearing two-toned, flared denim jeans. Two-toned, flared denim jeans. Now, that's quite, it's a perfect pairing, really, because you in your orange clown outfit and he in his two-toned, flared denim jeans, a scruffy denim shirt and platform shoes. So he's dressed like a clown. And I think if you had your orange Annie Oakley outfit on...
Actually, I don't think I do much better because I think I've got a photo of us performing for the photo.
Yes.
Do you recall that?
I have unfortunately seen that. I've kind of erased it from my memory, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Well, it's probably a good thing to do because I've got a very colourful, longish skirt, and of course I'd have a matching top.
So you go on to write, it's my mother's presence that causes me to take stock of the outfit, and it's through her vantage that I see him throughout the preceding dinner. It's clear that what I think of as being out there or different in an interesting way is ridiculous to her. Of course, her reaction causes me shame. Karen's obvious maturity, though, lifts the tone of the evening. If she supports him, then maybe he's all right. And generally, things appear to go well. After my birthday dinner, I overhear my parents talking in the lounge. Surely Deborah can't be serious about that thing, my mother says, aghast. Did you see what he was wearing? He looked like a clown. Deborah knows her own mind, my father says.
Yes. We've come... I'm leaping ahead. We've come to really reel from those definitive statements.
Just stop. You also wrote a note here. At the time I take it for support, another instance in which I'm driven toward my father and away from my mother, and furthermore toward the Bohemian, but a lifetime later I will come to see my father's, quote, support as his typical passivity, something much more benign than I could ever conceive then.
Yeah.
You go on to write, and I think that's really all that... That's all there is on that particular dinner. I wasn't sure whether that will ultimately be included. I don't know, but yeah, you sort of made some notes. I think it came out of like me prompting you around like, which we'll get into on the main show sort of in time. But I've kind of prompted you about like, well, what was actually dating life and all that sort of thing. But the more we get into it, I sort of find all that stuff kind of irrelevant, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it was significant on several levels. Of course, that was sort of the formal meeting, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Karen was there, and that really was proving a point that he needed backup.
Right.
I can
okay.
really see that now. And the only recall I have, I mean, I think the night went well, is that performative part of it, that silly photo that we took. I mean, some people might call that spontaneity, but no, it was
Sort of plain.
enforced spontaneity.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Well, why were we
this
posing?
Okay, this is a reading episode. This is not go into your memories episode.
No, sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I mean, I don't know, Mum. Honestly, at this point, I don't know. But yeah, like, I mean, I think those things came out of, asking more questions about that. But as I say, I think all that stuff's pretty irrelevant. Like because it seems to me as we go along, and as we, this is, as I said, the last for the year, so we're sort of wrapping up. But like, it seems to me, as we go into next year and try and finish the book, it's like the book is really not about any of that stuff. It seems like the book is really mostly about you and I ending up at home together, reflecting, writing the book, and that's kind of it. Like, what you did then, the minutiae of
what motivated the moment is irrelevant.
I'm starting to think that does it matter?
I see that now too. It's more.
Go on.
It's more, as you say, us coming together after our own struggles and trying to sort of really work out how we got here, and also re-establishing our relationship, which is the most important thing.
And I think, but it's also like a good thing to note in terms of the podcast itself, like, and what it's useful for or who it's applicable to.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, just wallowing in this happened and that happened.
Yeah, no.
Whereas, like, the more kind of instructive, this is how we got our relationship back on track, but also just kind of like, acknowledging, I'm really affected by that. Which has been the point, really.
Yeah.
That seems a little bit more, the point is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. You did write as well that, like, there was a little bit more on, like, his family, which, we covered on some recent episodes to a certain extent.
Yeah.
So I'll read maybe 2 more pieces. Just as my mother is not impressed with my choice of partner, I'm not so sure about his family or their family home either. Yet my mother's vocal snobbish admonishment of the Bohemian's appearance puts me further into a position from which I'm inclined to embrace and forgive. Sorry, let me take that again. Just as my mother is not impressed with my choice of partner, I'm not so sure about his family or their family home either. Yet my mother's vocal snobbish admonishment of the Bohemian's appearance puts me further into a position from which I'm inclined to embrace and forgive. I find it interesting that, like, you are so in reaction to your own mother that it sort of stops you from being able to see what you're doing. Like, it really
stops. Well, this was typical of her. The hard-nosed reaction, her hard-nosed reaction, you would recoil from that. And I know what you're saying. Then that would not be helpful to you actually assessing a situation.
It's like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of players like in sport who you've got a good player, but they are easily goaded by trash talk. And like, when they get sucked in and they get taken out of their game and they give away a foul or a free kick or whether it's basketball or footy, and it's like you got completely rattled. You let someone else, not you, you let someone else get under your skin. And like, as someone, because I played sports, I was never a great athlete, but I could be very antagonistic. And like, I would use everything to get under somebody's skin.
Yeah.
And like, you would have players, and it's like, I know this person is twice as good as I am, and they're falling apart because
You're getting into
I'm getting in their head. And like, I see so many examples of like your mother, but your parents just generally, and this goes to the enmeshed relationship that we've talked about.
Yeah.
It's like they're just in your head in all kinds of ways. Yeah, they're in your head long after you leave them and all sorts of things. We've talked about that, but they're in your head in the sense of like you're drawn more to someone because the fact that my mother doesn't like them, I probably need to be more forgiving to them because she's really mean and I know how bad that feels. So...
Yeah, so again, they're not in their lane, and of course I'm never in my own lane. So I'm, easily taken off course with that.
Yeah.
So instead of her being saying something constructive and me then, oh, okay, I'll just have another look at that. It's the meanness which creates a pushback.
Yeah, it's a reaction.
In me. Yeah. That's interesting.
Truth be told, these aren't my kind of people, not with their allegiance to the particular political party, evidenced by their anti-your political party poem hung on the kitchen wall, and their general chat about the high-profile MP who they adore, local MP. Their preoccupation with their larger extended family is also worlds away from my tiny family too. On Sundays, the Bohemian's mother will telephone seemingly all the members of that extended family just to check on them. Positioned at the front of a fruit orchard, the house is always a hive of activity. Cars come in and out, pickers coming and going in high fruit season, people buying fruit at the door, and always family visitors galore. The kitchen is the hub here where the Bohemian's mother creates culinary miracles in the most cramped of spaces. There's no kitchen bench, just the table, and the wood stove seems to always be alight. She is the great matriarch, I come to learn, completely in charge, always welcoming, always with a piece of knowledge about a neighbour, unafraid to do a favour or have one done in return. It's interesting also that, you pick up on favours, like the toing and froing, the having other people in their lives, like they don't have that isolationist thing that our family did.
Yeah.
It's also, I think, reading this about sort of coming into this world also made me reflect on my biological father and his family and how absolutely counter their existence and his personality as a product of their existence was to everything I was raised in. Like, he cannot understand me, I cannot understand him, I want nothing to do with him, he wants nothing to do with me. But that also comes down to just the most basic cultural differences. I regardless of all the the genuine acrimony, there is just like, there is no ability. They're so opposed.
Worlds apart.
Yeah. It's sort of, I find it really quite
and
striking.
there's sort of no use looking back on that and putting a different spin on it. I was just going to say something which really is quite untrue. Because I found that busyness overwhelming. I was going to say, did I find it
endearing?
Did I find that a place where I could get lost in? No, that's putting another interpretation on it. I did find all that connection overwhelming.
Yeah. So you write that accompanying the busyness of their home is the cluttered and ramshackle nature of the house itself, full of old-fashioned furniture and with a little room to move about. Their cupboards are in a state of disrepair. The crockery is old and the interior lining is falling apart. The floorboards are old and creaky. The house is generally run down and seems to be in constant need of maintenance. The Bohemian's mother and father sleep outside in the sleep out, while Grandmother Smith and Aunt Smith occupy the bedrooms inside the house proper. When days on the orchard draw to a close, everybody gathers in the lounge room to watch the television. Here, Father Smith sits in his designated chair under the lampshade, next to the fireplace and directly opposite the television, while the rest of us either bunch together on the old fold-out couch or take a seat at the large dining table awkwardly pushed to one side of the living room, making it quite a jumble. Often, Bruce will be there too, a picker and odd jobs man around the property who lives in a rundown caravan behind the cool store at the rear of the house and who has the audacity on occasion to steal Father Smith's chair, always with a beer in hand. I'm wary of Bruce at first, but then he becomes a family fixture I grow accustomed to. I feel a part of this, a part of something for the first time. See, when you were writing this originally, you were sort of insisting that was so. So you feel different from when you wrote this.
Yeah, I'm just listening to those descriptions and wondering again how I actually fit into that. Again, it's my passivity.
So you're right.
Yeah.
Even with my nerves about meeting new people, I'm able to fall in with the Bohemians family. They're welcoming, and Mother Smith is overwhelming in her show of affection towards me. Of course, this is also different from my own home, where every space is immaculate and there is quiet. My mother could never put up with the Smiths' home and their unkempt mess and the chaos of so many people pushed together, nor especially the shocking state of their cupboards. How do I deal with my own reactions? So you reflect. It's not as if I don't notice any of these deficiencies, of course. I'm only too aware of the contrast between my family and the Smiths. But I have good manners and never wish to come across as a snob, even though you are.
Yes.
The Bohemian and I, this is the last sentence, the Bohemian and I are a couple now, and in acknowledging that very thing, it seems to me that any shortcomings emanating from his background ought to be accepted, and so this is what I do.
Yeah, so I don't think that is dismissing my real reactions.
No, you never did, discount your genuine response.
But I think it underlines always my passivity and deferment in any situation. This is a messy, dirty house compared to my environment.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be small-minded saying that. But yes, I notice it. Yes, I am so good-mannered. I'm not going to appear as some kind of spoiled princess.
But why?
But it's more than that. It's passivity again.
Yeah. Because, see, this is the thing, is like, determined not to come across as a snob or a spoiled princess suggests that there is nothing between putting up with something you don't particularly like and being a spoiled princess. But like, there is this absolute chasm between those 2 points. I mean, there's this absolute ton of space to work in where it's like, well, what's the midpoint of that? Well, I'm just with somebody that is a bit more like me, with a family that's a bit more like mine. In terms of, see, it's always this kind of
worlds apart views, worlds apart ways of acting.
yeah.
Is it a reaction? Is that what I see my mother as? Do I see the only alternative as being mean?
I think you see any kind of living for yourself as meanness. Like it's like a
Yeah.
you have to be. I mean, the thing is that in life, in order to forge your own path, you are going to have to hurt some people's feelings,
And you are going to have to state an opinion.
Yes, you don't, but you don't have to be cruel about that. But you seem to think that any, God, what am I trying to say? Any
Preference or...
Yeah, but that preference, that sort of assertion, you seem to believe, and this is what comes across in everything I've read, is that you have this association that assertion, there's some relationship between assertion and like cruelty, dominance, domineering behaviour.
Yeah, but I think that's what's been shown to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, you don't seem to get that your mother isn't assertive. She's just quite mean. Like,
yeah.
you can be assertive in a really quiet way.
But what I'm saying is that I'm not being shown that. I'm shown the situation where assertiveness is meanness.
Yeah, sure.
Is dominance.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I get that. But like, in 67 years, you never sort of figured out that you could be assertive in a way that wasn't cruel?
No.
This idea
And then I think I've retreated more and more to the passivity, which, and I know we'll talk about it much more, is my father.
Yeah. Getting out of everybody's way and not having an opinion for the purposes of not coming across as rude or mean.
Yeah.
Is
not a choice.
Well, it's not really led to anything. And I think what I find difficult with some of the stuff you've written there is that, like, it's clear what your opinion is. So isn't it kind of more two-faced to suppress the real opinion than to not give it in a mean way, but to not pretend you don't have it?
Well, yes, and I think that hypocrisy.
Yeah.
I think that hypocrisy then permeates the whole relationship that I maintain.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
certainly.
you would
and
agree
I
with
get
that.
and I get born into this mess of people who
are
never
saying one thing, who are being pleasant to someone's face, and just as mean and crass behind closed doors.
But it's not just you. Like, if you think about it, and we'll get into this on the main episodes, but just to wrap up today's episode, I would say that, like, the situation I was born into is one in which there wasn't a single adult who was what you saw was what you got. Like, they were never
Yep.
an authentic person. Like, everybody was fake. Everybody
Yes.
pretended not to have the opinions that they had. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
all in the name of good behaviour.
including my father, his mother. You know, no one had it out. No one was honest. And that intense dishonesty,
Yep.
it's not a nasty dishonesty. It's just dishonest. No one's honest.
Yep.
And it goes all the way back to being 17, 18 and being like, oh, I hate this, but I'm not going to be rude about it.
Yeah.
It's so mild.
Yeah.
But then it just...
Yes, it morphs into something else, which
and
is not...
For the purposes of writing, how the question becomes how to get that across in a way that isn't alienating for a reader, where they're sort of put off, like, oh my God, this person's...
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Which again is why some of these passages, I don't know...
Yeah.
I mean, except to address it head on and be like, you know...
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to add?
No.
All right, we'll catch you back in February and we'll keep going, keep reading through it. See you then. Bye.